morning and welcome to another episode of Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where they are still featuring the smokestack sandwich.
16 hours of smoked deliciousness.
It's good.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it's a good sandwich. Fills you up.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, football. Okay. Because why not? Because you're here. Even though I just came back from the draft, I had to show everybody my puck. It's the only thing I would bring back from Vancouver is a puck. I can use it in self-defense. You've been writing all week about Kevin Colbert and his drafts, and the one tendency that I've noticed in fan analyzing of Kevin Colbert's drafts is, did the Steelers win their last game or did the Steelers lose their last game? I really don't think that it goes that much more deeply than that.
It doesn't, and that's somebody asked me that today or yesterday on the comments. They said, are you going to have some kind of metric to measure this whole thing? Well, the metric is, did you win? How many Super Bowls did you go to? How many did you win? What's your record over that time? That's all there. I mean, if you look at his record since he has been GM, it's almost a 66% winning percentage, and they've been to 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, he's drafted well.
And unlike football and hockey where there's a lot of player movement, you don't have to use some arbitrary metric to say, how did your draft class do? Your draft class almost always in the NFL either makes it with you or doesn't make it at all.
Right, and that's the key. To me, I've only given one draft thus far an A, and that was the 2002 draft, because you got Brett Kiesel in the 7th round, you got Larry Foote in the 5th. I mean, you got 6 or 7 guys who were big contributors down the road on those teams that were late round draft picks, that guys who were started in Super Bowls in late rounds. That's a win no matter how you look at it.
Now, you took a little bit of heat in the comments, not that you ever take heat in the comments, related to the Roethlisberger draft.
It's also the Alonzo Jackson draft, and that to me is something I can't overlook.
I'm so with the commenters on this one. I got your backs here, people. Ben and who else in that draft?
Max Starks.
Max Starks is a pretty good left tackle in the NFL for a lot of people.
He was.
You get Ben. You get your franchise player.
You took Alonzo Jackson in the 2nd round.
Care.
Alonzo Jackson played 8 NFL games.
I understand that. I don't.
A 2nd round draft pick.
See, you and I will agree that, well, football's a little different. You have how many picks qualify as a good class? Like how many real players? It's 2 or 3.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but really it's 2.
I think the idea of the average draft, you should get 3 starters out of. 3 eventual starters. That's a good draft.
But 2 impact players is a really good draft.
There's no doubt. And Roethlisberger's a home run. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
He's a grand slam.
But if Bill Cowher had his way, they wouldn't have taken him.
Dan Rooney. Okay, there's no way we're just going to let that slide. Because it's a really, really, really pivotal moment. And I use the term
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's a franchise-changing moment.
In either direction. Okay? I mean, that's not to say the Steelers never could have gotten another franchise quarterback. They wouldn't have drafted somebody else. But in that moment, Dan Rooney's decision to overrule Bill Cowher in this case, well, wait, I thought Cowher was just completely infallible and Tomlin won with Cowher's players and all that other stuff.
Look, and I have a lot of respect for Bill as a football coach.
As do I.
But Bill, every year in his last 5 or 6 years, was trying to replace Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Amos Saraway, Richard Huntley, Deuce Staley, and it always would end up going back to Jerome. Bill thought he had his franchise quarterback in Tommy Maddox, which is why he wanted to take Shawn Andrews instead of Ben Roethlisberger.
Imagine.
So he had his flaws.
No, that's not a shot at Tommy Maddox, who was a nice NFL quarterback and everything else, and obviously made the incredible comeback.
But he was not Ben Roethlisberger.
He was not Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, so you can look at Cowher, and people say this all the time. Well, he won all those games, and he never had a franchise quarterback. Well, was that his own fault?
Well, did he recognize James Harrison?
And he did not recognize James Harrison as a player. James Harrison did not become a starter until 2007, when Mike Tomlin came in, looked at the tape and said, this guy's got to be a starter.
This guy's got to play for me.
They released Joey Porter. It was the first move that he made and made James Harrison a starter. And in 2008, he's the NFL defensive MVP.
How about that? Never hear about that. You just hear that he was one of Cowher's players.
One of Cowher's guys.
Yeah, but for him to look at, maybe that's part of labeling, though, that goes on. Because Cowher, he knows that Harrison wasn't one of those guys that came with pedigree. So when in that case, everybody just pegs you a certain way. You have a certain ceiling. You got to have an open mind.
Yeah, you're not telling me that he could not have started ahead of Clark Higgins in those previous 3 seasons.
Undrafted free agents, as long as we brought it up here. The Steelers have brought in a really healthy number of these guys over the years with not just success, but phenomenal success.
Impact players. If you think about it, James Harrison makes this roster after being cut several times as an undrafted guy. Willie Parker and Dan Kreider, the starting backfield in 2005 in the Super Bowl.
One of those guys ran for 75 yards off right tackle.
It wasn't Dan Kreider.
No, it was not.
But then you look at guys like Ramon Foster, Al Villanueva. They're three of their starting 5 offensive linemen next year are probably going to be undrafted.
And Ramon wears that thing like a badge.
Oh, absolutely.
Too. He just undrafted. He'll just tell everybody. He'll tell you where he went to school with equal pride, but that nobody thought he was good enough to play in the NFL. The Steelers have had their successes with this, and maybe we'll see something in that regard in Latrobe.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see some guys who went undrafted probably have a chance, a pretty good shot.
Like who? Give us a name here.
Well, obviously, I think Jordan Dangerfield's number 1 at the safety position. He's been on and off the roster throughout. Keep an eye on Cameron Kelly. He's a big, rangy safety. Played at San Diego State. Played in the AAF.
Opportunity at that position.
There's definitely there. When you look at the tight end position, there's an opportunity there for somebody perhaps to be better than the guy they drafted. Other than that, I mean, you're looking at that offensive line. It's pretty set. The defensive line, there may be one of those guys steps up there, but this roster is really pretty set when you start looking at it.
Well, and again, part of what I respect in this process, and this is way more on Tomlin than the people over his head, is that he will go into a training camp with an open mind.
Completely open mind.
Now, you've experienced that firsthand, even in casual conversations where he'll come like at a bar in Latrobe or whatever and just say, off the record or whatever, watch so-and-so, keep an eye on so-and-so, and you'll be like going through your roster. Who?
He'll do it on the sideline. You'll be standing on the sideline.
He just walks over to you and
just walks
says,
over and starts a conversation. Hey, watch this kid. I remember him doing it with Jordan Dangerfield early on, yelling at Dangerfield. And I was always told by my dad when I started playing sports, and I come home and I'm like, boy, coach was really tough on me tonight. And he says, well, if he's not yelling at you, he doesn't care.
Doesn't know you exist.
Doesn't know you exist. So it's a good
That's
thing if
great.
he's yelling at you. And I remember specifically yelling at Jordan Dangerfield a lot early on.
He yells at him constantly, but he does it in a playful way.
Oh, always.
And the best part is Dangerfield gives it right back.
Right.
It's great where he'll yell. What was he yelling? It was a couple of years ago about he had no chance. I had no chance, coach. I got no chance to make this team. He's yelling from across the field. Great stuff.